Got a couple of ride announcements and some information, and then obviously if anyone has any questions after I'm chatting with you, please let me know. But again, welcome. Thank you for coming and supporting the River Valley 100, which ultimately supports the Greater Mankato Bike and Walk Advocacy Group. And we will have a lead moto for the gravel ride. So. All right, we'll roll in 1 minute.
The River Valley 100 is not just a gravel race, but an event that you can choose your own distance. There is a 100k gravel race, which we are doing now, and there's also options for a 60k gravel ride and a 100k pavement ride. The ride is hosted by the Bicycle Alliance of Minnesota and the Greater Mankato Bike and Walk Advocates, which most of the proceeds are going back to. The ride is a grassroots type of an event. At nearly $20 or exactly almost $20, surprisingly, it does not get more individuals taking it on. Today, I am not sure of the number, but just 4 days prior, there was around 60 people registered for the race. They are giving out rewards from Sean Bagley Pottery for the top 3 in the men's and women's race. To get these though, it would be a miracle. For the event, it is based out of Mankato, Minnesota, and that's where we're at right now. We are coming up to the edge of town. So far, the pace is not crazy, but it will get there. For the race, yes, it is a gravel race, but the first 10 miles will be pavement. But when we do hit the first gravel, you'll be in for a treat. From just a second ago, I said the pace was not that bad, but we have made it to the edge of town now. We are currently on the Judson Bottom Road leading up to the MMR. Going through town, or up to the edge of town, I was averaging about 170 watts, but that has picked up now to this section with averaging 230 watts, while going over 21 miles per hour and the heart pumping at 140 beats. Right now, I am wasting a lot of energy. Like, a lot. I think the group is nearly 30 or so people. Can't really tell. But there is a short climb coming. And with being heavier than most of the people here, I could easily get dropped. And I don't want that to happen this early. Also, with it being a short, steep climb, there might be a chance where someone tries to break away here, since there's a good chance it could separate everybody up.
Split point.
Like I said, here's the climb. I was able to use Sean to pull me up to it, and all of a sudden, I started to crank on it. For this climb, it's not that large, maybe 50 to 70 feet, but it averages nearly 7% with a max gradient of 12%. To get over this, ahead of everyone, I needed to hold an average of 556 watts with a max of over 700 and got my heart into a nice 165 beat rhythm. So we're over the top now, and I was surely someone was going to pass me on the hill, but no one did. Here eventually I looked back and kind of noticed the group. The group's like 300 feet behind me. They never went here. So I had two options. I could either still crank on it, which probably within a mile they would catch me, or just slow down a little bit, which I kind of did. I brought the watts probably down to 170 to 200 watts, keeping it decent, like an endurance pace, but enough where the group can come back here. And I don't want to waste too much energy. Like, guys, I just put 700 watts going up that hill, and we're not even 10 miles into the race yet.
How's it going, Andy?
Pretty good.
From here to the MMR, I kind of settled down a little bit. Eventually, we would fall back in the group a little bit, not to the back, not to the middle, but right towards the front, just to kind of chill out a little bit. No need to waste too much energy. We're finally on gravel, and that MMR. here's where the race is going to break apart. Not that little climb in the past. Main reason? Well, it's gravel. There's only 2 track here. It's rutted, it's sandy, and man, it is bumpy. And if you watch closely, you'll see. But anyways, up to this point from the edge of town, I have been averaging 263 watts. Now, in this section, just to keep up, I needed to pull an average of 300 watts. Remember I said bumpy? Well, keep an eye on Sarah here. You'll see it. This little bump taken at going over 20 miles per hour caused something to happen to my bike. It just felt off. And to try not to have it happen again, I kind of backed it off a little bit here during this MMR. So a little mistake I made here. At this point, I should have jumped on these guys' wheels. Instead, I started to look over my bike in the handlebar region, since there was something off. First, I thought it might have been the future shock. No, it works. Then, maybe the handlebars are twisted down. Nope, the GoPro's even. Then there it was, the left brake. The lever of the brake, or the whole brake, was twisted inwards by a significantly noticeable difference. Instead of stopping though, I was able to force it back to a little bit more of a comfortable position. Also, with these bumps, it caused an issue with the GoPro. Since the race is 60 miles long, not long enough, but enough to chew a battery of the GoPro pretty fast. What I ended up doing is taking along a USB external battery bank plugged into the GoPro. On this, there's an off button to turn the power bank off, and I'm guessing when we ran into that bump, it might have turned the power off. So going forward, we have footage, but it will significantly be shorter as we go. But anyways, back to the race. Enough rambling on here. By messing around with all the stuff, it caused these guys, as in I believe Aaron and for sure Gabrielle, to open a 600-foot gap. During this time, I thought I would have brought these guys back, but I kept looking at my computer, and it's been bouncing between 250, 270, 280, 310, 320, 290, and as you can see, I'm not gaining nothing. So to even catch these guys, I would need to be putting around, I'm guessing nearly close to 500 to 600 watts. But even at doing that, if I could do that at this point, you know, I'm like been sitting on my max here for the first 20 minutes of the race. I'm gonna have to hold it just to stay with them. So instead, here in a few moments on this road, I kind of let off, and then eventually, when we got to Cortland, which is the next town, kind of looked back, and I seen a group. I waited up for them and kind of joined up with them for a little bit.
What's that? They were up there. I was trying to catch them. I was holding like 280, 290, and they were just staying there like, I can't do this that long. I was like, I'm not going to try, because they're about 300-400 feet ahead of me.
So you gotta do 500 or stay fucking right.
Yeah, it's like I was saying one time, and I finally said screw it. And I came over the hill, and I seen you guys behind, like, all right, I'm slowing down. I mean, we got 40 miles left, right? So we're gonna have 2 hills coming up here. One, maybe 3 miles, and then it'll be the top. There's a dog at the bottom of the hill.
Coming up to Cortland, we were faced with a little bit of a northern headwind. Now, since we came through Cortland, we have turned around and started to make our way back to Mankato, but on the southern side of the river. So, mostly tailwind now. Also, in Cortland, there was 4 of us. Back on those 2 hills, the guy on the red bike, Scott, took off solo for the next 40 miles. So now, it's Jason, Sarah, and I in this group. And a fun little fact, Sarah is currently holding on to first place for the women's race. Up to this point, the entire race, I have been so far averaging 241 watts at 17.6 miles per hour, which is well above my normal. Going forward here, this is where the GoPro is going to take a hit, and when I'm hitting recording, it's not getting everything. In fact, here in a couple moments, we'll come up to an MMR, which not really is MMR, but more of a field road, and I'm going to throw a photo up. But, like I said, issues with the batteries, or issue with the power bank on the GoPro. A lot of this footage is very short, so I'll put it up, what I have. However, this is going to be coming towards the end of the video. Yes, Sarah did get first place for the women's. For myself, I'm not really sure in the place. They said they were going to post it, never did. Talking to Jason when he did cross the finish line, he heard maybe 13th, 14th maybe. But for the race, I averaged at, I'm looking at it right now, 216 watts for the entire thing, which is 62 miles, normalized power 244, average speed 17.1, and an average heart rate of 134. with this race, it has put, like, I guess I went to Strava, right, after the race, and there was PRs on segments, and not only segments, you guys, PRs on power outputs all over the board. But anyways, for the race, it's always a great race for anybody looking to do it in the future. I highly recommend it.